Welcome to the Daily Podcast. My name is Michelle Sinclair. I am a divine healer, meaning I help people heal from physical ailments, emotional things, and essentially raise your vibe. So, what is destroying you in your mind right now? And why are you allowing it to keep happening? Let me ask you again. So, what is your fear? In other words, what is your hell? What is that scenario, that situation, that scene that you've got on repeat? Because as long as you continue to look at it, you will continue to experience the hell that it's creating within you. You have to look only for the heaven and ignore all that is not that. That's how you get there, so that eventually all the things that are presented to you are heavenly. But in the meantime, while you are raising your vibe, you are going to have to deal with the karma from the previous vibrations that you sent out. Now, I know I say the word karma, but this is essentially, you're dealing with what you put out, and it's not necessarily bad. It could be good, it could be bad. So let me ask you this. What percent of your mind is in heaven? If you were to ask yourself, so there's only heaven and there's only hell, what percent of your day that you spend in your mind and in your life is heavenly? What percent? It's whatever very first comes to mind. I don't know. Guess. What is it? Okay, so then whatever percent that was not is hell, and you have free will, and you can choose your thoughts. I know it does not feel this way very often. We feel like we are controlled by our thoughts, but who is the basis behind them? Us. So we do have control. So let's say that you just said, oh, you're in, 60% heaven or 40% heaven. Well, then that means you're in 40% heaven, you're in 60% hell. And this is purely the thoughts that you have. You are allowing 60% of the time for your mind to run around all willy-nilly and create hell for you. So, we're going to stop that, because you have to look only for the heaven. Only for the heaven. And as you look only for it, and you're going to find it, as you look only for it, pretty soon this becomes your focus. And then you create more, and you create more, and you create more of it. So let's say that you're at 60% today. Well, let's say that today you decide you're going to just look around and you're going to see the heaven in every situation. So let's say you're going to look around your house. First of all, you're going to look at your house, and you're going to look at all the things in your house that you freaking love. That you love. Look at all those beautiful things that you have. It's like your house is a heavenly house. Then you could go outside, or you could go out around town, or go and meet up with people for coffee, or go do whatever you got to do. And in every situation, in every scene, and in every thing that you do throughout the day, I want you to look for the heaven and find it. Look for the heaven and find it. Maybe you see things as, oh, look how beautiful that is. Oh, that's very heavenly. Oh, look at this thing over there. Oh, that's very heavenly. You have to look only for the heaven and ignore all that is not that. All the things that you'd like to judge. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, they look funny. Oh, what a stupid thing to say. Can you believe this happened? And then you go off and you tell a rumor, and you gossip, and you speak of another in a way as to make them appear less than what they are. And maybe they're this to you, but to another, depending on many things, they will be something completely different. And so do not think that you can cast judgments about others and expect that others will not indeed do the same for you. But when you're judging all these things and you're casting it out, you are going to have that return back to you. Now, if you're living in a heavenly world, are your neighbors talking bad about you? Are they gossiping about you? That's not happening. So in order for that to stop happening, you have to stop doing it. You have to be the number one. And when you stop doing these things, and your past no longer is catching up with you, then pretty soon you're going to notice there's a shift. Not only do you not talk about people anymore, not only do you expect that they're not going to talk about you, but it disappears from your world completely, and it doesn't even become a thing anymore. Because do you think when you're in heaven, people are sitting around talking about, you know how we used to gossip and we used to talk bad about people, and we used to bring people's vibrations down just by talking about them when they weren't even in the room. Ha ha, how sneaky. They didn't even know we were doing it, but we knew we were doing it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in heaven. Now, if you wish to cease to live, I mean, be very honest with yourself. Are you happy that you're here, or would you prefer to cease to live? And if you'd prefer to cease to live, then your vibration is low, and you are not experiencing the fullness that life can offer you. Now, the reason why you would want to cease to live is because you are listening to the fear, to the hell inside of your mind, rather than the heaven that's all around you if you would only but look. Now, perhaps you feel like you're forcing yourself to look for the heaven. Well, yes, indeed. Anytime that you start doing a practice, anytime that you start doing anything, it takes a bit of work. Let's say you haven't been going to the gym for the last 20 years and you want to start going to the gym. Well, what's going to happen? Well, first of all, you're going to get in there. Is it going to be super fun? Well, it's going to be some work because you haven't been doing the work. And so you might get tired and it might be exhausting. And you might think, oh, this is a lot of work. But you know that if you just keep going, it's going to get easier and you're going to get better at it and you're going to see results. This is exactly the same. When you start out, maybe your vibration is very low because you haven't been practicing high vibrations for, I don't know, your whole life, however long, till it came into your awareness that it was even a thing and that you needed to. And so when you start doing it, well, some of that old behavior, it's still going to be present. It's still going to be there until we work out the kinks, till we gain the awareness of it. Because, you know, you can believe, because I believed, about, let's say, last summer. So we're working on a year and a half ago. I believed that there was absolutely nothing else that I could do to cleanse my mind anymore. Well, let me tell you, I'm a human. And so we fall back into these things and we get into these patterns and we don't even realize that we've been placing little judgments here and there. We don't want to do it. And we don't even know we're doing it. We might not even think the thing that we just cast out was even a judgment, but yet it was. Just like when I was walking on the path after that enlightenment that I'd had many years ago, and I had a thought to complain about the path that I was walking on because I was in bare feet. And I had just moved from a dirt path with my bare feet, walking through the forest in northern Canada. So nice, smells amazing. I wish I had some smell-o-vision here so I could just let you smell that delicious piney forest and feel how nice that soft dirt felt on my feet as I was walking through it. And so I'm walking through, you know, meditative state. I've just been hugging some trees, you know me. And so I come out, and then I'm on this path, and it's filled with sand because it led down to the sand pits down at the end where we go take our quads and we go rip around and we go call the wolves at night and listen to their beautiful voices call back. It's kind of creepy in a beautiful, amazing way. Anyway, so I step out on this path, on this sandy path, from this nice soft dirt path, and immediately I thought, oh, ow, oh, I don't like that. And I said that in my mind. And you know what? I was by myself. I might have even said it out loud. I don't know. This is a long time ago now. But I said it. And immediately I was stopped. Like I felt like I was like, whew, like somebody was there teaching me something. Like if somebody put their hand on your chest and they kind of said, stop, in a serious way. That was how it felt. That was the energy that I got. And I was told by the divine, this might be a very welcome path, depending on where you were coming from. And so I looked down to the left and knew that, you know, it's not, there's more rocks down at that end. It's a busier main road, and that this nice sand trail off to the sand pits really is an improvement from another path, and it would certainly be an improvement from if you were walking through the forest and didn't have any path that you'd been walking on for who knows how long. And so I realized you can't even judge something like a path and say, I like this better than this. Why? Because what have I done? In that moment, I have taken something and I've said, ooh, I don't like this. This isn't as good as this. So I have taken that vibration, I've taken that and I've put it out from myself, and I have imbued the environment with it. So what is going to happen when the environment receives this, ooh, I'm not as good as this? Well, it's going to follow suit. It's not going to be as good as that other thing. It is going to take on my vibration and it's going to hold it, because the earth, it can't decide, so it's different, right? I wrote a book in 2018, a channeled book from the divine. I wrote it up in my cabin. This was before the enlightenment happened. And the divine told me, you got to write this book for me. And I was like, okay, I'll write the book. And so I did. And in there, it's talking about consciousness and how when you walk into a room, let's say there's a whole bunch of people in this room. You walk in that room and you notice, oh, it's low vibes. Well, you have a choice. You can then choose to be part of the low vibes, or you can choose to just remain yourself and uplift the room, right? You have a choice. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it. If you're very perceptive to energy and you just want to fit in and blend in and not be yourself, you might get absorbed and sucked into the low vibrations. Super easy to happen, especially since every person in there was probably talking about things that you get roped into real easy. You know what I'm saying. However, the earth is not this way. It does not have a choice. It just receives what the collective puts out. Therefore, if the collective is sitting there watching climactic change videos and everybody's sitting there in fear, then the earth is like, well, we better make this happen. And it is then created by the consciousness of the people. You understand how influential the media and our TV programming is. You understand. They're in control of the minds and the vibrations. You understand this. However, the earth does not have free will like you and me do. So it's just going to absorb that. So me taking that little bit of judgment there and putting it on the path of, ooh, I don't like this. Well, the earth absorbed that. It took it in, and it's holding that vibration. So immediately, of course, this was corrected, because I wasn't allowed to have a thought for more than about 1 second when I was in this state without being corrected by the divine, or told, or pointed in a direction, or told something. So as I realized that I had been judging this path and thinking, oh, it hurts my feet, that was a judgment. And that gets you out of that heightened flow. I mean, it didn't for me because it was immediately corrected, but it is that kind of repetitive, continual judgments that we don't even realize that we're doing, because we've been doing it our whole freaking lives. But it is that is lower vibration, and it drags your energy and it pulls it down away from the divine love. And therefore you then experience things that are not the divine love. Whatever it is that you are putting out there, it is like a hook. You're grabbing it and you're pulling it back, whatever vibration that you are putting it out at. So when you put it out and you're like, oh, I don't like this, like I did with the path, well, I'm going to pull back in things that I don't like. And so you have to be very cautious and very aware of what it is that you're putting out, because you are going to lasso it and bring it back to yourself. Now, if people try to judge you and say, oh, once you stop gossiping and once you stop doing all of these things that you used to do, people are going to judge you. They're going to say, oh, yeah, no, they do this, they do that. Now, everything that everybody's talking about you and saying that you do, it's because they still do it. You need to ignore these people, because understand that you were there at one point too. You were doing all those things too. And so now you're reaping the karma from all those things that you used to do. And that's okay. It doesn't matter, because all these people who are now doing it to you, they will suffer the karma from what it is that they are doing to you, and then they will see, ooh, I was doing that to somebody else. Maybe what she's talking about is true, because now this has returned to roost and it's on my front doorstep and it's affecting my life, and what I was trying to do to somebody else has now come back to me. And people will begin to see the karma play out in their life in the negative way when they are unaware, whereas you will begin to see the karma play out in your life in a positive way, because you are now focused on heaven and you're only looking for that, rather than searching for and feeding the hell that you used to search for and feed. Now, I'm not saying that you went out every morning and you were like, come on, hell, get out here. I want to find you and wrangle you up. But it was through the unawareness of the hell that you were allowing to permeate your mind that you were then experiencing it in your life. And because you allowed it, because you gave it time, because you gave it your focus, you put extra vibrations out. So now just imagine this for a second. I am singing a beautiful song, and my voice carries this beautiful resonance, and so there's this beautiful vibrato that's out in the air, and it's just permeating the room with that vibration. What a beautiful thing. How long does that singing last? How long does it linger on? I'm not sure. I can't tell you exactly, but I do know that whatever vibration that you're carrying within you at this exact moment, what you are sending it out, just as if you were singing, just as if your voice was permeating the room. That's what your mind is doing right now, and it's holding a very specific vibration. And so if you hold a thought like, oh, that person, oh, ooh, they're ugly, oh, I don't like that, what a stupid thing that person said, what kind of vibration does that hold? How would that feel if you were on the receiving end of that? How would it feel if all the conversations that you have about other people, you could overhear them, but they were about yourself? Would you like it? And if the answer is yes, then keep doing what you're doing. And if the answer is no, then you need to stop it right now, because that's exactly what's going to come for you, if it hasn't already. Now, here's the best part about this. It takes some time, right? And so people don't know you. Even if you're married to somebody, you don't know them. You don't know the thoughts that are going on inside the person's head that's next to you. That's them. If you knew them, then you'd be them. But you're not, and so you don't know. And so people might start to judge you, and they might start to think, oh, this person, they don't know what they're doing. And any person that is going to do that, the reason why they're doing that is because they are not invested in personal spiritual growth, and they probably don't know nothing about it. And they are so invested in the earthly world that they are blinded to the spiritual nature that is all around them. Now, this is nobody's fault. We're born this way. We're born with amnesia. And unless we seek something different, and unless we're born with that spirit inside of us that's driving us towards exactly the things that I'm talking about, we're not going to find it. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. Why? Because we're all here for different reasons. Just like I'm not going to go out there and climb some electrical pole and hook your electricity up for you. Why? Because I don't know how. I don't want to. I have no interest in that. But thank goodness that there are people who are interested in that and that do that in the world. And we need them. We need every single person that's here, because each person has their unique gift and they do their unique thing. Just like every person that's in your life has their unique role. Some people come in to hurt us. Some people come in to teach us lessons. Some people come in, and when they come in, they're going to just give us love. And when they come in and they give us love, we think, ooh, that's real nice. I want to be like that when I grow up. I like that. And those people, they teach us something, and they teach us how to grow, and they teach us how to be better people. Every person has a different role. Now, we need these people who have harmed us and who have hurt us. We need them. Why? Because they help us to see what it is that we do not want. They help us to heal hurts and pains that we would not had to have hurt and we would not had to have healed. And because we had to heal these things, we become much more powerful. Our strength increases. We grow as people. Because in order to forgive somebody who's harmed you, who's hurt you deeply, it takes a lot, doesn't it? You know that. If you've forgiven somebody in the past, it's easy now if you've already forgiven them. You're like, yeah, no, really, it's no big deal. I forgave him. But before it became no big deal, before you forgave him, it was hard to deal with the hurt from other people, wasn't it? This is why they needed to be forgiven, because they did something to you. But it was through you digging deep, through finding the why, that you forgave. And that you set yourself completely free. And that you also set that person completely free. Now, real, true forgiveness, you want to set that other person free. So now I think about my ex. Now, I could be better towards him. We were together for over 20 years, this man. And when I was just listening to something this morning, and it was talking about hugs, and it said, did you know that a hug can actually save your life? Because a hug, over 20 seconds, it releases oxytocin, the love hormone, and it reduces stress and lowers blood pressure, and it even strengthens the immune system. What a beautiful thing that is. Now, my ex, I would go and I would give him a hug before he'd be leaving for work. Every morning. Like, oh, I just needed that physical touch. And he would push me off of him. every day. every single day. And I just needed it. I needed that. I needed that. And he refused it to me. And I understand now. I understand now. Man, I'm a good hugger now. The best. But what happened when he pushed me off, it did many harmful and hurtful things to me, to which I am so thankful. I'm so thankful for it now. Why? Because I'm an amazing freaking hugger. I've been told this many, many times. And maybe because of the divine nature of us all, when I give somebody a hug, I am gifting to them this beautiful, loving, warm energy. And so these hugs might last for a couple of minutes. And it's a wonderful, beautiful thing. Now, I could look back, because I used to look back on my ex and just be so bitter and mad that, how could he do that to me? How could he treat me in this way? But it's laughable now. Because what a gift it is. It taught me something amazing. And it's now a gift that I can give to other people. So there's no bitterness, there's no nothing that's in it. I realize even that too, for years and years and years, every day being pushed off of somebody, that was the gift. There is nothing that can come into our lives that is not a gift. And it is your suffering that you have been through, those grievous bad, air quotes, things that you've been through that are the biggest gifts, because they taught you the biggest lessons, didn't they? That person who crushed you and destroyed you and broke your heart, they broke you open. They made you realize things about yourself. They made you grow. They made you become a better person, because you thought, well, I'm not doing that again. And unless you were in victim mode and you were blaming the other person, then you didn't grow. But if you realize, hey, that ended, I'm going to do something so much better this time, and then you did that, and you did the better thing, then you can realize, oh, that was a gift, because look at all that it taught me. Now you might think, oh, I'm sick of learning lessons, like I just want to know it already. But this is why you're here, darling. This is why you're here. It's to learn and to grow. And just think where you're at right now. Where are you going to be at in 50 years from now? There's so much more that can come. And it's going to come as long as you keep pursuing it and as long as you do not stop. And if you want to create more heaven in your life, then you need to focus on only heaven, and you need to ignore everything that is not that. Now you might think, oh, well, I'm just ignoring my reality. Well, yeah, you are, for a bit, for a temporary period of time, until all the things that actually present to you become actually heavenly in your life. So let's say right now, only 40% of them. Well, then only pay attention to that 40% of the things that are heaven in your life. Only give that your attention. Only give that your focus. Only. And pretty soon, that 40% is going to grow to 90%. Just real quick, just like that. And then when you're at 90% and you're seeing all the stuff all around you and you're like, seriously, we're living in heaven, man. Like, these plants are talking to me. This thing's happening over here. And I'm telling you things that actually happen. The world will actually change around you. I've had plants waving at me, communicating with me. And I never have my phone or I'd videotape it, but I did see it once on TikTok, and I saw somebody else's plant doing the thing, and I was like, dude, this is what my plants do. Why? Because I'm living in heaven. So even my plants are heavenly. But the more focus that you give it, the more you get. And you're going to notice when you hang out with certain people, they bring your vibe low. Real low frequency, and you know it's going to happen. You know that they do it, and yet you keep exposing yourself to these people because you haven't set up boundaries yet. Now, here's the deal with this. As long as you continue to allow that, every time that you are around those people and your vibe is getting lower, you are creating and manifesting at that level. And if you are cool with that and you want to live with that, then you go right ahead. But if you want to create heaven here on earth, then that's going to have to change. And now you might think, well, I got to ditch every single person that I know. Well, yeah, you might have to do that. But you know what? The new people are going to come into your life because now you don't have all those energetic strings attached to all these other people that are dragging your energy down to low frequencies. Instead, you're going to have that energy freed up and you're going to be able to attach to people who are high vibrational people. It's going to change your world for you. And as it changes your world, the actual environment, the actual world around you is also going to change. It's going to become heavenly, more beautiful. And you'll understand why everything had to happen the way that it had to happen. Because it had to happen that way. For you to be you. And who you are is wonderful, my darling. You're perfect. Perfectly wonderful. Well, this is what I have for you guys here today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every single one of you. I love you all so very much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.